So the next step is get everything tuned up and try and start it up again, make sure everything works. So first I'm loosening things up because I'm using my measurement gauge to make sure that the head is set the correct height and basically that it's horizontal based on the base, or based on the outfeed table rather. So I'm just running that back and forth and loosening things up and tightening things. And I noticed that the front side where I'm at was a 64th lower than it should have been. It's probably because I put the bolts back in wrong. Because the bolts did adjust some when I was playing around and cleaning things up. So then that was just working on loosening things up, getting it so it was side to side the same height down to like not 128th or whatever to 0. I don't have a thousandths gauge. This is just a woodworking one, but it said 0 the whole way across, so I'm going to assume that's close enough for woodworking work. And yeah, then once I get all that sorted, then tighten it back up. So there it's 0, there it's 0, there it's 0, and it works. Yay! So then it's make sure that the blades are sorted and try and get the height of the outfeed table set to the blade height. So that's what I'm working on here. And initially I tried with the level to just get it close. And then I tried a piece of wood. That's not straight. You need a straight piece of wood for that. Okay, that one's straight. And so then what you do is you set up where on the board it starts, and then you set up where on the board that it finishes. There's a lot of better videos online to do that. So this is not a tutorial on how to do that. There's a lot of better videos, but I followed what they did. So basically you mark where it starts before the blade hits the wood, and then you mark where it ends. And if both sides have the same distance of board travel, that means that it's lined up. And what I noticed is there's two blades in this. One blade works, one blade is off. And that's not ideal. I'll have to fix the blades once I get the blade adjustment tool made, because they don't make those anymore. And then here I'm just trying to get the motor attached and sorted. And looking back at my original video when I got this, the motor was literally straight down from the pulley versus when testing before, had it off to the side. And so I'm just trying to get it such that it's vertical. And I'm still not sure if I'm going to be able to use that belt or if I have to go back to the original belts, because the link belt tends to make a lot more vibration and noise for some reason with this. And then here I'm just working and trying to find bolts to reattach the power switch and get that sorted. And I had to use new bolts because the old ones I didn't want to try. And that worked. Put washers up in behind, got it all tightened. And so that's all good, and then got that all attached. And then we're going to be ready to test it. Before I tested it, I realized I need to put the fence there in case there's problems. And there you can see, it works. It spins, it makes noise, it was vibrating a bit. And then you can sort of see down towards the motor, there's those black drips. That's oil. That's not supposed to happen. And there was quite a bit of oil after that I noticed. And it's all on the motor side. Oh, and I realized when I was trying to get the motor sorted that the cord pulled out, and I tried to adjust it, and that broke. So I had to replace that with a new piece, a new clamp connector to hold the cord into the motor. And that was, luckily I had extras. So yay for stuff in the garage. So that worked. And then here's a better video of the oil dripping down. You can see it's not supposed to do that. The reason it's doing that is there used to be a bunch of sawdust in that spot. It's not supposed to do that. It's probably moving just back and forth enough to pull the oil forward, and yeah. The good news is it's getting oil. The bad news is it's all coming out, and that's not going to be a good thing. So, got to get that sorted out. Hopefully somebody knows how to fix it. While it runs, the one problem I had was I hadn't tightened this enough, so it was leaking out the bottom here. So I did it one more revolution. Luckily it has a cap on it that held the oil in as I rotated it around another revolution to get it in further. So hopefully that'll be all right. and stop dripping. And the other more annoying problem though is, well, you can kind of see there's a little gap right there under the shaft, right in that area. Let me try and get on this side. You can kind of see there's that little gap under the shaft next to here, like right in that area. There's a little gap where if you went straight up, it'd be behind my finger in that area. And on this side, it's okay. It's not dripping out badly. On the other side, as you saw, the oil just comes right out. So it did not used to do that. And one thing I did notice when I was cleaning this up to paint, there was a lot of sawdust and stuff in here that I had cleaned out. And I'm wondering if the sawdust was helping keep the oil in. Not ideal. I mean, you can see on this side there's that little gap. This is on the non-pulley side. Let's see if I can show it on the other side. I don't know if I can, because the belt and stuff's in the way. Oh, there's stuff everywhere. Let's see. This does not work so good. Let's see, is that going to be enough? Well, you can see the gap. And let's see. Oh, there we go. So there's the gap. And you can see the shine of the oil in there. So I have to figure out I have to figure out what to do with that. Or how to deal with that or something. Because I can't have it just dripping oil like that. For one, it gets all over the motor, but it's going to get everywhere. And yeah, that's not going to work. So I have to figure that out. Hopefully somebody that watches the video will say, hey, I know that. That's this. If you do, please leave comments in below. I'm doing the best I can to figure this stuff out, but I don't know everything. I don't know a lot of things. I am working on figuring it out. So at least it runs. I did notice there's a lot of vibration from the motor down into the base. So I think I have to get anti-vibration pads like I did for the joiner itself and put under the motor or under the motor base, probably under the motor. Then I can get rid of that plywood that's underneath the bowling alley floor. So it goes plywood and then bowling alley floor and then motor. So if I get a 3/4 inch anti-vibration pad, that could replace the thickness of the 3/4 inch plywood. But it runs. It has issues, but it runs.